Discontent.
Hello, welcome to the Pitch of Discontent. Owen back again for another guest episode. Very excited to be joined by my friend of the show, Lewy Glass.
Friend of the show.
Hello, sir. What's
How
going
are
on?
you?
Welcome back.
We're back. We're here in person.
If I remember, you did an episode with us early in the show. You were maybe like our fourth or fifth guest. It's for the Honest Crooks record release, but you had like a terrible phone connection, and I remember the audio was being like kind of wild, and something to do with the internet was like dropping out, and I think we had some stop starts. It was one of those classic like podcast episodes where like nothing goes right and it's all kind of dog shit, but the chat was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what always happens. The technical difficulties are a sign of a good yap.
That's right. That's right. That one was fun. It was cool. We went through like influential records for
We
me,
did.
talking about the Crooks record. That would have been February 23.
23, yeah. It was before we moved to Melbourne.
So 2.5 years.
Yeah.
A bit more.
Ages. What's been happening since you were on the show?
Heaps.
Heaps. Well, let's talk about well, you're here now on a run. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, cool. So I'm currently on the Southeastern Decimation tour, which is Starve and Splinter co-headline.
Nice.
So I booked that through the label, Big Records, Bereave Records.
Mm-hmm. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll have a talk. It's been really fun to put together. So Splinter I've been working with, did a re-release for their CD. Two of the guys in Splinter play in Volatile ways, Brock and Jonah, which is my band.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been working with them pretty closely. It's like kind of like unofficial management sort of role for them. So Brock like bounces so much different things, merch ideas, show ideas, what they want to do with touring, and I just kind of
help
give
out
them some advice.
And I would imagine like, you know, like Volatile Ways is definitely like your kind of baby. And if half of the band is a part of that, it's kind of a natural fit to be like, we'll just ask Lewy what to do for the Splinter stuff. So
for sure. And they've got like good direction and good ideas, and they know what they want to do. But I sort of can't help myself with, wanting to help out, and I want to see them win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. They're your boys,
little brothers.
Yeah,
for sure. And I've known them for a long time now, and they're crushing it. Like everything they're doing is really awesome. But they did their The Hill I'll Die On EP came out April last year through New Ethic, and then they just did tapes for that.
Right.
Tapes, and
I think we featured one of the songs on the show. I think when that dropped last year.
Yeah, and it still rips, and it's going crazy. It's pumping on Spotify at the moment. Like
Sick.
It's got into like some good algorithms and stuff, and like I think they're sitting up like 30,000 monthly listeners right now or something, which is
crazy.
Which is awesome. Like considering it's been out over a year now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's really sick. So they just came off the back of some side shows with Malevolence, and they did some shows with Volatile Ways on our album tour.
Yeah,
and I was like, what can we do next? And they wanted to do a headline tour, and I was like, all right, so we can work on that. We were looking at some dates, and some things weren't really lining up, and we had some ideas of bands to do it with, and I was just like, I'm busy doing some other stuff right now. We might just like put it on the burner for a bit.
Sure, yeah.
And then Alessio from Starve sent him an email, like, it wasn't long after, like a week or two after,
right?
And was like, we want to do some shows, and we want to do some shows with Splinter. Would you guys be keen? And then Brock put them onto me, and we're like, let's do a co-headline. Like, it makes sense sonically, but the two bands are kind of in different scenes.
Yeah,
like,
they are.
Starve are doing a lot of like metalcore tours and stuff, and Splinter is sort of more in the hardcore scene, but sonically the bands make sense together.
Yeah, totally.
So we were like, and they wanted to get more into like, because their stuff's pretty mosh heavy music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're like, if we could do a co-headliner, and they had the new single coming out, work it around that, and we could get like people from their scene and their scene to come together, and it's going to make sense.
Yeah, we love a split bill, but also a mixed bill. But you're right, like sonically, those two bands make perfect sense to play shows together, and like, maybe appealing to like slightly different crowds, but definitely familiar crowds.
Yeah, 100%. And tonight's the third show. But the boys are in Hobart, so I've got the off day today, staying here, chilling, so we can chat. But yeah, Adelaide.
No shade to Tasmania, but Lewy needs a day off as well.
I'll be there in a couple of weeks, so we're all good. But yeah, we did Adelaide first on Thursday, and it went really good. It was on the same night as Straight from the Path and Orthodox. Thursday night in Adelaide, 9 p.m. start, and it's like, how's this going to go? But it went off. It was cool.
That's awesome.
It was cool. The venue's the Ed Castle, which is the cranker of shut down for renovations.
Right.
So they've kind of taken over the Ed Castle bookings and stuff to fill the void. And it was awesome. It was a cool little room. And Adelaide's got the craziest moshes. Everyone's going nuts. I was like, this is a school now.
I hear lots of good talk about Adelaide shows. I do hear from like people who book that it can be very like hit or miss, like depending on like other shows that are on and just like times of the year. Like if the scheduling is like fucked, it can be like pretty dicey. But then I also hear that the shows go crazy and that the kids go wild. So
something that Adelaide's always had a soft spot for me, because I remember the first few times that like Crooks went there, you know, in like 2016, 2017 and stuff on our own tours. We were just trying to, you know, get our name out there and book our own stuff. And even if the shows had like 40 tickets sold, 20 people were moshing. You know what I mean? Like there was always just so many moshes in Adelaide, so it was awesome.
Sick.
It's like, I don't care if there's not a bunch of people standing around the back of the room. It's awesome to see the whole room moshing.
Totally. Yeah, if everyone's fucking with it, then that's a good vibe all around.
Yeah, so I've had a real soft spot for Adelaide for that reason, and it was really cool. The band Theurgy opened, and that was their second show.
Okay.
Awesome, like old school metalcore styles. They did a Sanction cover, and I was like, I'm not gonna mosh. And then they're like, Sanction cover, and I was like, all right,
might have to mosh.
I'll mosh it. Yeah, so first show, broke mosh retirement, unfortunately.
That's so sick.
They crushed it. It was awesome. And then went to Frankston last night, Singing Bird, all ages.
Great
awesome.
venue.
Yeah, really cool. They got a great scene down there, and Stu's awesome, and the show was great. So it's a great start.
Yeah, and then they've got, you said the Tassie show, which is sold out, right?
Not quite, but I think it should sell out tonight. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So that's at the Grand Poo Bar. They've got 2 rooms there, and they've got a smaller one, just like 100 cap. So it should be a nice intimate show for them tonight.
Yeah, sick.
And Severed on that one, and a newer band called Mutating Utopia. It could even be their first show, actually.
Okay.
Not 100% sure, but the Severed guys have a little booking promotion thing down there called Cosmic Obliteration.
Yeah.
And they've really turned things around for Hobart. Like,
that's sick.
Yeah. We were just down there on the V-Dubs tour, and that show was on par with every other city.
That's so awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah. Wasn't expecting that, and it was really sick. As you stand before me, begging to be spared, I place my sword upon your neck and slice from ear to ear. Welcome to your
It was something that we were chatting about off mic, but this is a nice kind of segue that like that whole DIY ethic, and I know it's like a bit of a cliche to talk about with like hardcore punk and stuff, but like it really is the type of thing where like if good shit isn't happening in your spot, like you just have to make it yourself. Yeah. And if you can surround yourself with, you know, people who like your band or other bands that you guys can play with, like you can build a scene and spin up something
100%
quite easily. It just takes a little bit of work and a little bit of effort. And I mean, like you've managed to do that for Crooks, for Volatile Ways, and now you're kind of like you said, kind of bringing other kind of bands under your wing and kind of helping them do it, which I just think is awesome. That's how you pass the torch.
Dude, it's so cool, and I feel like I could rabble on about like some of the younger guys that are doing it right now and what they've created. Like Murad is one I've spoken about before in Canberra, who's doing Uzis Akimbo. Like,
oh, they're great.
So awesome. Like
so many house shows.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because Canberra doesn't have like the venues they want, but whenever I see like a wild house show, I'm like, Canberra.
Yeah, 100%. And he loves the history of Canberra too, and they've got a rich history of house shows with like Crossroads and Lackluster and all that stuff. And like I remember, you know, helping Murat and Caleb from Thantu like getting into shows when they were underage and stuff.
Fuck yeah.
But because they didn't have any all ages spots to go to, and then Murat started booking his own all ages shows, and he still does them, even though I think he might be 20 now.
Yeah.
He's still putting on all the all ages shows, and some of the sickest, if not all of the sickest shows in Canberra are the ones that they're doing in like these all ages spaces, and it's awesome to see. So he's a prime example, and it got so many people paying attention because Canberra was often a place that people would skip. I mean, they got Justice for the Damned playing a house show there tonight.
Yeah.
And No Apologies played a backyard show there a few
I
months
know.
ago.
The
It's
footage
like,
was crazy.
It's like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah. But that's sick. And like, that's the kind of thing we're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
if the venues aren't there, like, put on a fucking, DIY guerrilla show somewhere. Like, you just make it work.
Yeah, 100%.
And the all ages thing is like kind of difficult as well because like I know like when Speed were doing that tour through here, like they had the all ages show that got canned.
Yeah.
We had the guys from Blood on My Hands on the show a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And I know that they recently just booked like their headline tour for their EP release and had to move the all ages show. I think they've moved it twice now.
True.
And like had the guys from Life Layer Regret Records help them out to find a new spot to put it out in like Baronia somewhere. I'm not from Melbourne. I don't know where that is. But apparently people are like, whoa, show in Baronia. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, like you find a way to make it work. And it's a necessary thing because like you want young kids to have that introduction to hardcore and to metalcore and all that sort of stuff. So then like, when they do turn 18, they can go to the pro venues and see the bigger bands and stuff. But if you got your spark ignited in that all ages space, in that DIY space, then that's an ethic that you take with you and you apply it to everything else.
Dude, 100%. Another like one that I really want to shout out was Antivision in the Sunny Coast.
Yep.
So Cherry, who did Antivision, still does. He's just like taking a little bit of a step back now. He's just moved down to Brisbane, but still heavily involved with the Sunny Coast scene. Almost single-handedly, he's got like a lot of like his mates and stuff that help out and just volunteer at shows and stuff. But I heard about Cherry booking shows up there, and then I saw some footage, and I was like, "This looks awesome." I reached out and I was like, "I want to get Volatile Ways up there. Can you help out?" And he's like, "I'd love to." And then we went back and forth for a couple of months trying to make it work, and then he put on a Christmas mini fest thing up there. And it was Volatile Ways headline. There was 10 bands total. Whoa. 4 bands played their first show, which on paper seems like would be chaos.
Sure.
Like that's not gonna.
How's that gonna
work?
Yeah.
Every single one. They might have. I think all those bands' first show might have got a better response than all the bands who had released music. It was insane. The kids up there, like this band 270 who played their first show is like kind of doing that like bass style beat down like Tsunami stuff, but their own flair on it. And the kids are going crazy, and they're tired as hell. And I was like, "Where are we? Like, what is happening?" It was like when I was a kid, I was scared of the big guys moshing. Yeah. And I was like, now I'm like the bigger, older guy, and I'm scared of the kids moshing. I was like, "What the hell?" Doing crazy spin kicks.
That's so sick.
It was so rowdy, and I was so pumped, and I was like, "This is insane." And now like the Sunny Coast has become like a tour stop again.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be up by the time this is out, but I had Pete from No Apologies on the show to do a little mini episode before their album drops. The album's fucking sick, by the way.
Cool,
it's so good. But we were chatting about that, about just trying to hit those little like off the main path spots, like band says they're doing a tour and it's like Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne. It's like, where are some of the other spots that you can play that get a good response? And Pete shouted out Sunshine Coast. He's like, like the stuff that they're doing up there is crazy. And he's like, so awesome. It's so sick. Yeah.
It's really, really cool to see. And again, like just a young guy who knew that stuff used to happen. Like the Black Box, there was like iconic deathcore bands back in the day.
I was about to say, I remember when I was like, a young kid going to shows, like, and the deathcore stuff was really popping off. Like, all of the crazy bands were coming out of fucking the Sunny Coast, like Tomb of Doom and all those like real like underground
the
fucking
Ailment, Signal the Firing Squad.
Yeah. Like those shows used to be psycho.
Yeah.
So it's like the same thing, just another generation, just putting their own flair on it.
It's really awesome. And even last night at the Frankston show, I met some of the guys from Scourge, which is like another young band, and I think one of them's just turned 18. I think the rest of them are all still 17.
That's crazy.
And I was stoked to meet them because they were another band that I saw have been putting on their own shows, and I wanted to say like props to them for that because stuff is good at the moment. And there's a lot of stuff happening all the time, which is good, and it can be tricky because people can be spoiled for choice sometimes.
For sure.
They can choose where they're going and all that sort of stuff. But just a lot of bands, I feel like, kind of wait to get an offer or just wait for something to come their way. but seeing these young guys putting on their own shows, I was like, yes. I was like, keep doing that, like, because people are paying attention to what you're doing, and they were so stoked, and it was awesome. And they moshed to every band last night. Like, it was full mixed bill last night.
Yeah.
And they were moshing to every band, every song, and like I was just like, yes, keep doing this.
That's
like,
so dope.
It's really, really cool. So yeah, shout out to them as well. So there's little pockets that are popping off, and it's these places: Sunny Coast, Canberra, Frankston, like even in Newcastle, like when we can do the all ages shows in the car park and stuff, and that goes off. It's like these little pockets that kind of don't have that existing already, have like built their own little thing, and it's like it's really exciting to see.
Like if you don't see it, make it. Just like bring it into reality. I want to kind of talk now about some of the more general like crew and TM stuff that you've been doing, because like
cool.
you know, like we've been I call it friends, or colleagues, associates, whatever you want to call it, but I like I follow you on social media. I see all the shit that you get up to, and like you're so busy and you're always doing shit. So like talk me through like the last couple of years, because I feel like you've really kind of ramped up a lot of the crew work, a lot of the TM work that you've kind of like been dipping your toes in. What's that been like?
It's been so awesome. So at the end of November last year, I was working at a place not for very long, and they shut down where I was working. So I kind of got made redundant, but hadn't been there for very long, no redundancy or anything. Got another job straight away, but asked if I could start at the start of January because I had like the V-Dubs album rollout started in December. Crooks and Volatile had some shows lined up. And I was just like, starting a new job with all of that and coming into Christmas and everything, I was like, it's just not going to work. So I asked if we could start at the start of the year. And during that time in December, Candace from Beast Mode asked me if I wanted to jump on and do some driving on the Speed regional tour that was starting in January.
And how do you know Candace?
Just through like playing with Crooks and mutual friends, and I mean, she's been so heavily involved in stuff for a long time, and she helped out Crooks with a bit of stuff back in the day, and she manages Volatile Ways now as well, and
nice.
Just huge, lots of respect for her, and
shout out Candace. She's a real one.
She'll get plenty of shout outs in this
I tried to get her on the pod way back in the day, and she was like, respectfully, I am too busy. And I was like, fair enough.
She's if you think I'm busy, like, I'm not even like 10% of what she's doing. Yeah, she's awesome. I told her I have to give her 20% of my life instead of 20% of the commission.
That's so funny.
Of everything I do. But she asked me if I wanted to do that, and I was like, it was actually, she asked me if I wanted to work on the album tour, the Only One Mode tour.
Yep.
And I couldn't do it because I just started this job that I was talking about that shut down. And I was like, damn, like I really would love to do it, but I need the money and this and that.
For sure.
Then when I got offered this other one, I was like, I can't say no twice because I won't get offered a third time.
Absolutely.
And someone else could come in and do a great job. And then you never know, like I could have missed out on this awesome opportunity. And it's literally changed my life, honestly, because I was like, I'll try it and maybe I can ramp up the label and do the touring stuff and see if I can make it work.
Yeah.
So I shot out a couple of emails to like some people at Destroy All Lines that I'd done tours playing on, or like Ash and Lachlan Watt and stuff like that, and just said, and even like Matto from Last Ride, and just said, if you're looking for anyone to do any crew work, like I'm open to anything.
Yeah. And
they all know me from the bands and know that I've done that with my bands forever. So like I often did a lot of the driving on the tours. I'd normally run our own merch. I'd normally book our own tours, run our own shows.
This is that ethic we're talking about here, like self-sufficient guy.
For sure. So I've got, experience doing things my way, and I'm open to like working with other people, and then also like shadowing Candace especially, and just seeing how they operate and going from there. And through that tour alone, it's just kind of snowballed from there. And then working with other TMs like SRAM or Mords, or these people that have TM tours that I've been on before, and now they know that I'm doing it, so they might shoot me here, and it could just be a couple of days of you know, picking up a van and dropping it off somewhere, or it could be a full tour driving a truck, or it could be anything. And I'm like, I'll do whatever. But I've been very lucky that everything I've done so far has been like in my lane, something that I'm into, and it's really been awesome. So been doing a lot of driving work, bit of merch work, a little bit of TM work on my own stuff, and Candace actually let me TM couple of shows at the end of the speed tour,
Nice.
which was really cool. Yeah, and like shout out to those guys for letting me like have a crack at it as well. And
Yeah.
they're really easy to work with. It's a pretty well-oiled machine at this point. So.
Yeah, I definitely get that sense kind of as an outsider looking in, but like that whole run just looked like so much fun.
That's
And
awesome.
I showed Jem a message because when we had him on the show, roughly around the same time you came on, like very early in the beginning of the show, he was kind of talking about like getting to play shows with Whispers and like how they were like his homies, and he's like loved that band and can't wait to like go over to Asia and like play shows with them. And he said like on our episode, like, oh, I just can't wait to like bring them over here and to like show them our scene and to like take them around and do shows. So like seeing that tour come out, I was like, fuck yeah. And then actually going to see them play, like Whispers were fucking incredible.
So
So sick. But it's just like the vibe seemed like so wholesome. Everyone just vibing, just having a good time.
Yeah, super fun. Whispers they're just some of the nicest people ever,
Yeah.
and they're just so funny and just awesome energy. Just heaps of fun to be around, and they love hanging out. You know what I mean? They're doing their own thing. They've been non-stop, like doing the stuff with Speed. But I'm pretty sure they played Sound and Fury the next day, flew to Australia.
That's
and then
psycho.
I see them the day after, and they're just like, yo, and they're so like, so friendly and so stoked, and and they crush it every single night. It sounds insane. Their music on record is great, but I mean, hearing them live every night, I was like, dude,
the live show is where it's at for sure.
It's so insane.
I remember, and I like talked to Jem about this on our episode, but I remember like watching footage of them playing like some of those like crazy pop-up shows, and like just like in the street, and just like watching people do like crazy spin kick mosh, and there's like just people walking by, like what the fuck is happening, like that sort of shit. I was like, I can't wait to see this pop off in a fucking venue. So it
was unreal.
What was it like to kind of take the reins for a couple of days on a tour like that?
It was cool. I when she hit me up, we were just having dinner one night in Newcastle, like just before the Newcastle show of the tour, and she was like, so what shows do you want to look after on this tour? And I was like,
what do you mean?
What do you mean? Yeah, because I was like, I've been shadowing her and stuff, and she's been teaching me a lot. And she's like, oh, I thought you might want to, handle a couple and see how it goes. And I was like, I'd love to, whatever you want to give me. And then we did the Bendy, which I've looked after Volatile shows there before. And it's pretty low key venue, but I was excited for the chaos because a speed at the Bendy, like we probably won't see that ever again.
I only get to go to 170 Russell, and like fine venue, but like not the perfect one for like mosh chaos, because it's like got that weird kind of floor situation going on. But the Bendy would have been nuts.
It was insane. I didn't think I'd see that there, and I'm standing up in the back corner of the stage just watching it unfold, and it was heaps of fun. I don't know how they managed to pull it off, but it was awesome. So I was really grateful to do that one. It was pretty low key, and then we did Lion Arts Factory in Adelaide, which is an awesome venue, and it's so well ran. And the Adelaide show earlier in the year was at Lion Arts as well, so they kind of knew what they were in for.
Okay.
So it was pretty straightforward for me in that regard. But I just took it on board and rolled with it, and it was great. Yeah, like I said, that I don't have to do a whole lot to look after them. And I mean, Candace, all their advancing and everything was already done. All the hard stuff was done. I just had to make sure that
just keep it on the
guest
rails,
list and rider and all that sort of stuff. And and it was cool. I even moshed one.
Nice.
Jem saw me. I moshed into Whispers, and he goes, it's good if the TM's in the pit.
Absolutely. Did the guys give you any shit?
No, they were chill.
No grief. No hazing.
I gave them a bit of shit, actually. Kane sent me a set list to print out, and the file was the wrong size. So when I printed it out, it had some of the song titles cut off. And I was like, bro, you sent it to me the wrong size. He was like, oh, sorry. So then I shrunk it down and printed out one for him that was like this big on an A4 sheet of paper, and just wrote Kane in big letters on it.
Got it.
So we had a bit of fun, but they're chillers. It's awesome. I'm really stoked to, obviously, who wouldn't be, stoked to be a part of what they're doing and helping out, and even just a small role. They're super grateful for. They're always like thanking me for anything, and like they're super easy to work with. So
and to kind of like bring it kind of full circle from what we were talking about before, like that's a band that is still operating under that DIY ethic,
100%.
but on just like the biggest scale that you can for a hardcore band, like playing crazy shows, psycho lineups, but still, you know, putting their friends on, still helping out people who've been there from day one. Like they get it. They know what it's like to kind of cultivate that kind of crew around them and look after them.
Yeah, 100%. And they're still, they take all their own backline. They load in, load out. They handle everything. And they put their mates on, like Joel that does merch from Joel that sang in Endless Heights.
Yeah.
In Peace Ritual now. He has been their friend since, I'm pretty sure they were like in primary school.
There's photos that Jem shared of them. I reckon they must be like 10 years old.
Yeah,
like
it's insane.
They've been mates forever.
Yeah, and now he's taking them around the world, like, or they're taking him around the world. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's so awesome to see.
Sick.
So yeah, they're all about like helping out their friends and putting on bands, and they just want to see hardcore do well in Australia, and it is.
It is. I mean, almost because of them. Like
big part of it.
They've definitely like reignited a fire in like a lot of people, both young and old. You know, like I was talking to Pete when he was on the show for that episode, like talking about their new record and like why now to come back and do a record. And Pete was like, well, because I'm old and like I'll never get another chance to do it, so we might as well do it now.
Yeah, for sure.
It was like, but you know, you look at a band like Iron Mind, like they came back, crazy record
rules.
So good.
So good.
And like that's the thing is like people are hungry for it. Like the kids want it. The older dudes like us that have been around for a while, like we want it. Like it's just a great time to go to shows and to see both young and old like fucking vibing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and like you said, big part to them and massive part to Candace as well. You know, like she books all their stuff in Australia and she did that Tsunami Big Boy All Ages tour.
Yeah.
I think it might have been last year. It could have been about 18 months ago now. But full all ages. Like she got all ages in venues that I didn't even know was a thing.
Yeah, I think I ran into her at the Stay Gold show and had like a very quick chat. And she was like, she's like, this one nearly broke me. Like it was very stressful to organize, but like it was more just
expensive, I imagine.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
but yeah, like no one else is doing that. No one else is going out on a limb to kind of like do something like that. So shout out to her.
Dude, full circle again, like 270, the band I shouted out from Sunny Coast.
Yeah.
They, I was talking to them at one of the Nambour shows, and their first show that they could go to was Tsunami Big Boy at the Brightside. Because it was all ages, because that was before the Nambour stuff was happening.
Wow.
Or it was early stages of it happening again. And they would have been probably, 15, if that. Like, they're all still only 16, those guys.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And they'd been listening to that style of music, but they just wouldn't have had a chance to see them before.
Yeah.
So they'd travel down to Brisbane and get to watch Tsunami Big Boy at the Brightside all ages. And, like, now they're doing a band that, like, sounds like that style.
That's so sick.
It's obviously, like, changed them. And now, like, I want to put out their music. I want to help them out as well. I'm like, these guys are awesome. Like, it's really cool to see. And they're, again, like I said, Cherry at Antivision has kind of stripped back a little bit now that he's moved to Brisbane. But Bowie, the singer of 270, and his friend, I think it's Kalani, are doing guerrilla bookings. And they've helped me with a couple of things for this Wet Work release show that we've got coming up in a couple of weeks up there. So we've got their name on the flyer and stuff too. And it's like, I've got, a couple of 16-year-olds helping me with the show up there.
Yeah,
it's
fuck
like,
yeah.
This is awesome.
That's so sick. And I'm sure, like, to them, that just, like, means the world.
It's cool.
To get big upped by someone that, has been doing it for so long, working with bands that they love and respect, and, like, being able to, like, help you with the stuff that they know. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, they just want to help. They're hungry.
They're hungry. That's right. That's the thing.
The finest art comes from the heart. It's burning drugs of hate. The screams are symphony, composing a morgan melody. The cries of fear.
I do want to put some time into the label stuff because I feel like that's super interesting. But before we do that, I want to talk about your record because you mentioned putting out other people's records. Let's talk about your record first.
Yeah.
The Volatile Ways record, Perfect Dark, came out February.
Yeah, February 12th.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fucking rocks.
Thank you.
It's one of the feature albums on the show. I think it's fucking incredible.
Thank
But you're welcome. I just think it's been cool to kind of watch that band from like the inception and kind of like to see you and M talk about it and how like it was conceived and how you just like kind of like brought it into being and then
Yeah.
like how successful it's been for you guys to like play those shows and play those songs. So like talk to me about the record, like what's it like 6 months after release? How are you feeling about it? And what's the post-mortem on Perfect Dark?
I am super proud of it for sure.
Yeah.
I love it. The record was written. We started writing, I think, October 21st. October 2021. Wow. Because I said October 21st because the screenshot that I posted of me playing guitar says October. Yeah.
I feel you.
21.
That's a long time.
Yeah. That was just me like noodling around at home and riffing and stuff. But that was when the writing for that record started. So yeah, it came together. I think by the time it was out, it had been mixed for like 9 months or something. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a long process just with, shopping around for labels and stuff to start with. 'Cause
Yeah.
we really wanted to try and push it out there. And then deciding to start a label to put it out ourselves. And then
Talk to me about that though. So like you've been around for a while, you've done Crooks, doing Volatile Ways, like there is this sense of like, I don't know, like I've never put out music in a band, so like I'm kind of speaking not from experience, but I would imagine that there's like a certain level of like kind of prestige attached to the fact of like, oh, like this label that I like
for sure.
might want to put out our music, and that's something that I want to work towards.
Yeah.
So obviously you tried doing that, and
Yeah.
then just didn't get the right kind of offer or didn't get the right thing, and you're like, fuck it, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, just didn't really hear back at all. So something that we'll probably get into as well is funny about starting the label. It's like before I'd even put out any music, I had people hitting me up to release their music.
Okay.
And I was like, these people don't even know what I'm doing yet. I haven't even put out any bands. I was like, what? They just see records and want to like, maybe this person will put it out.
Yeah.
So I was like, imagine these, like you said, prestige labels. Imagine how many emails they get every day.
Probably a ton. Yeah.
So I was like, how does yours get filtered through amongst the others if your name's not already like in their head? So I think it probably just got lost in the fold somewhere. We didn't know anyone specifically at any of the labels we reached out to. We just reached out to ones we liked. And the one that we did hear from was Metal Blade, which was massive.
It's huge.
But it was only because their A&R had followed us on Instagram maybe like a year before. And,
right.
And I think it was around the time that Pink Miss Wishlist came out, just as the single when it wasn't attached to the record. He just replied or inboxed us or something and just said, keep up the good work or something along those lines. And saw his page and we're like, what the hell? And we're like, oh, thanks so much. Like, that's awesome. And then I kept that in my head for when we wanted to do label shopping. And I actually went back to that inbox and found it and just said, hey, like we've got a record finished now. Like if you wouldn't mind, do you have an email I might be able to send it to? Didn't say anything, just sent the email. And I was like, all right.
Okay.
Cool.
Very business. Sure.
Yeah. And I was like, well, at least they replied.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
could have left you on scene, you know what I mean? So like, at least you got the email.
Straight up, and sent through like a nice pitch and stuff, what I thought was like a nice pitch. And they replied and said they sent it around the office and it's a good vibe and like all this stuff. But they said because we were a band from Australia, they had a band from Australia before that found it really difficult to tour America. So that kind of like scared off a couple of the people who called the shots or whatever. And it was like, at least we got positive feedback, and it's like there could be something there for whatever we do next. Or maybe, now we're working with Candace too. So that was just before we didn't, it was just me, managing and looking after the band and stuff too. But, Candace has a lot more people that she's in touch with and knows how to put things together a bit more professionally and package things the right way. And, I just did what I thought, might be appealing to someone. And and that was really cool to even have a consideration from a label like that. And like, I was speechless to even hear that from someone involved.
That's very humbling to know that like, one of those like legacy prestige labels like even gave you the time of day. Cause like you said, like I'm sure they get 20 20, 200 submissions like a week
Yeah.
of different bands. So
Wouldn't
like
surprise me,
to get
yeah.
to get a look in is like still sick.
Yeah. So I think that was the thing. The only reason why that one sort of made it through the filters was because this person was already familiar with the band. So that made sense. And then, doing the own label now, I couldn't even imagine what it's like for what they get on a daily basis. So, yeah, I then, kind of spoke to a couple of friends that have their own independent labels in Australia. And what's tricky, and Honest Crooks used to be in this boat as well, is that it doesn't really suit like the hardcore labels, but it also doesn't really suit like the bigger metalcore labels, and it doesn't really suit like the straight metal labels. It kind of falls into its own
Thing.
weird void of mash of genres.
Yeah.
Which is kind of good because you can play a lot of different shows and play with a bunch of different bands, and it still always makes sense. But in terms of like what a label might want to put out and what they sort of what the idea that they have for what they want to release or what they're going for with the label, it doesn't always align with that, which is fine. So I've always kind of just put out our own music.
Yeah.
Aside from we did the Crooks record on EVP, but EVP's closed down now. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. It was like, where do we sort of go from here? And I was like, we can just put it out ourselves like we've done with the rest of Volatile Ways music. But I thought, what if I start a label and then like people might not necessarily know it's me, even though we've said this is our label and we started it that way. But people will see that it's attached to a label and it just adds another element. And like people will be like, oh, cool, they're on a label now. Like, and people don't even know what the label is.
No, that's exactly right. And that's kind of like why I kind of launched that question at you, is because like there is this kind of thing of, I guess, like prestige attached to just the idea of a label, not necessarily the label specifically, and like bands and a roster and stuff. But yeah, I remember like you find a band that you've never heard of and you open up like the CD or you open up the kind of like lyric sheet or whatever, and you see that it's put out by a record label. And even if you're not familiar with that record label, you're like, oh, that's a big deal. Versus like just the band putting out their music. So like, even though the landscape has changed a lot with like streaming and stuff, and it's very easy to put out your own music independently versus like 15 years ago. I think psychologically, at least in our kind of scene, like if you're on a label, that's like, oh, they're on a label. That's crazy.
It's a funny thing. It's like a visual thing. And then also it's kind of like having another element to like promote with.
Totally.
Kind of thing, because it's like I'm not just posting from the band page all the time. I can now post about the band from the label page.
Yeah.
And I'm not like clouding up our grid and all that stuff, and people aren't just seeing the same thing all the time. It's like, okay, I can do this post here and this one here and put this on these stories, and there's different people that now are following the label, not just from the band, but from the other bands that I'm putting out or things like that, which is a cool little added element. And yeah, I didn't expect to sort of take it as far as I have, but it's kind of worked in a really exciting way that doing the freelance stuff now, I have a lot more time than I would have if I was still working like a full-time
for sure
trade job.
Bring down the bell, scatter the light. This is the bodies, decaying dust. Will collapse, the end of days. Breathing, apocalyptic.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, let's talk about the label then, because that's kind of dovetailed nicely from Volatile Ways to the label. So, like, how long have you been doing the label? What is the label? Let's do the full chat.
Yeah, so the label is B.I.G Records.
Where did the name come from? Because I think the name is dope, and I like that you chose something that like can be abbreviated into like B.I.G Records.
Yeah.
Like, tell me about that. There's got to be a fun origin story there.
So it's kind of like I'm a bit cheesy with like acronyms, and I love like playing on words and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so
me too.
It was just a name I had an idea for a band one day.
Okay.
Was Bereave in God.
Yeah.
So play on words, believe in God, bereave in God.
Yeah.
and bereavement is, the mourning of the death of someone.
Yeah.
So it essentially means that God is dead.
Yep.
The implication is that you might have been the one that killed him, and now everyone else is bereaving.
Yeah. There's so
God.
many layers to that word.
Yeah, and then because I like the acronym, it was big. It was the intention was for it to be some dumb heavy band, and it's like big riffs, big breakdowns, big whatever. And then when I was thinking about starting the label, I thought that Big Records was a fun name. And the implication is that it's a small label.
Yeah.
Putting out Big Records. And what's funny too is the handle and the website. Like, obviously, there's going to be a million things that are called Big Records. It might not even be related to music.
Yeah.
It could be people holding records for
Sure.
different things or whatever. So that was tricky. So I thought it would be funny to have only Big Records, as in I only put out big records, where it's quite the contrary. I only put out small records. But yeah, it was just again a fun wordplay. But that's kind of been a double-edged sword because people think the label name is only Big Records.
Yes.
Where it's just Big Records. I have to be careful to say it's only so B.I.G is Bereaving God Records. So I've tried to, the way that I market it and stuff now, I've tried to be a bit more spell it out as Bereaving God Records where I can, and then just tell people it's called Big Records. But yeah, it's cool. That's where it came from. It's been in my phone for years, just as like if I ever get the chance to do a dumb side project one day, that was one of the potential names for it. So
now it's a dumb side label.
Yeah, almost a dumb full-time label.
So you started the label. What was the first thing you put out? Was it Perfect Dark?
No, I did some CDs for Shinto Katana. I didn't actually put their music out, but I was just involved with that side of it. So it was one night we had this group chat happening at the time with a bunch of different people and different labels around and just friends and whatever. We'd talk about shows in there and talk about all sorts of different stuff. So there wasn't clashes and all that sort of stuff. And I can't remember exactly what happened, but I was just at home one Saturday afternoon. We were talking about something. And I was like, I might start a record label. And everyone was like, that sounds cool. And I was like, sweet. So I just got my laptop out, made the logo, and then the next day made the Instagram and just posted it. And then that was it. Less than 24 hours after I said I might start a record label, I had the website, I had everything.
That's crazy.
Everything set. And I knew I wanted to do that for Volatile, but I didn't expect to do it so soon. So that was like, I think it was like late May or something, or maybe mid-May, because we had a year anniversary a few months ago. And then Shinto were doing the EP through New Ethic Records, and I think they were just doing vinyl. And I was like, CD is a pretty inexpensive thing to make, and I don't have to mass produce them or anything. Maybe I'll hit them up and see if they want to do some CDs.
Because CDs become like kind of niche now, rather than like the mass kind of like, I don't know, product that you would have for a record release.
For sure. And I've been doing a lot of digicase CDs.
Yeah, sick.
Which is cool because the vinyl art translates really well. It's kind of like having a mini record and you can do some fun stuff with it. So
yeah, cool.
I like doing that. And yeah, I just put it out to them and they were like, yeah, that's cool. So I got to do a shirt and a CD for them exclusive through the Big Record store. And it was cool. It went great. I've known those guys for a while now, and it was fun to do that as the first one. I never thought I'd put anything out for them. So that was a really cool thing to do. It was their first music in 12 years.
Yeah, I remember them coming back. It was crazy.
Yeah. And
they're another one of these bands that like No Apologies, like Iron Mind, like they see the hunger that people are fucking hungry for shit. And they're like, well, I'm only getting older, so if we're going to come back, let's do it now.
And it's still, it's almost better than ever watching them. Like they're going crazy. Mitch, the bass player, is like full CrossFit jacked now. Like he's turned his life around and he's still doing the craziest spin kicks. Like
Sick.
I take a lot of inspiration from his stage presence and stuff. And I'm watching him do it and I'm like, man, you still got it way better than me. Like
That's awesome.
It's so awesome. Yeah, so that was really cool to work on that. And then after that, it wasn't until the Volatile one that I worked on something else. So I think I might have like moved our merch store over to the Big Records side, and just so I had some eyes on it and did it that way. And then I think we announced Volatile on the label at November.
That sounds
started
about right.
the rollout in December. Yeah. So that was kind of like the first official label release, even though the CD was like B.I.G 001. The first one that was wholly done through the label was the Perfect
Yeah.
Dark. So
And I guess like not many people would know all of the moving pieces that go into like starting a label, which like you said was like relatively easy to go from like idea to something that people could follow and see.
yeah.
But then like the actual execution of a full rollout of a release.
Yeah.
Was that something that you were familiar with, or is that something that you kind of like learnt while doing it? Similar to the kind of like crew and TM stuff we were chatting about?
Yeah, so I probably still had a fairly elementary sort of rollout for that record.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we had a lot of people excited for us to release some new music. So it kind of fell into the hands of the supporters, which was really nice.
Yeah.
And that sort of took a lot of control in terms of just general, marketing and promotion and all that sort of stuff. And then in terms of the production of the records and like getting stuff online and all that, like I'd done all that before with other stuff. So I just had to make sure that I had all my ducks in row, and it all went like pretty smoothly. We did some fun variants, and to do that, I did get the vinyl pressed overseas.
Yeah.
I've been having everything since then in-house at Zenith Records, which are down here in Melbourne.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one was done overseas, and then there was delays over Christmas time. There was 6 weeks shutdown of the pressing plant, and then different issues, and then delays on test presses, and then so it all took a lot longer than I hoped for. But everyone was super patient. Yeah, no issues. I might have had 2 people email out of about 300 pre-orders. Being like,
Where's my record?
Yeah, where's it at? Just following up. Haven't heard anything, and
Yeah.
I saw one post on Reddit being like, has anyone worked with this label before? I've been waiting for it. And and so I was just like, all right, cool. And got on and just let everyone know. And it was sweet. But yeah, a lot of work that I probably wouldn't be able to do if I was working full time.
For sure.
To nail all that. That's why a lot of respect for someone like Zem at Kingpin. He still works full time. I'm pretty sure he's like a concreter or something.
That's what someone was telling me. I saw they opened, I think that speed show.
Yeah.
Forewarned. That set was fucking crazy.
Ridiculous.
So good. But yeah, I was chatting to people at that show, and they're like, "Yeah, he's like a concreter." I was like, "The fuck?"
Yeah, he plays in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 bands probably, and I think he always kind of has. He's been doing so many different things.
And doing the label.
And now doing the label, and he's packing stuff all the time. His stuff is on time and ready to rock all the time, and I take a lot of inspiration from people like him or people like Matto or even like the Burning Hammer Records guys, and like all these people that have done these independent labels. Like I take a lot of inspiration from what they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really lucky that right when this big rollout was sort of happening, that I was able to now have a job which allows me some freedom. But when I'm away, it's tricky because I might be away for 2 or 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
Get back, I might only be home for a week and then go away for another 2 weeks or whatever it is. But that whole week I'm home, I'm like, all right, we're packing all day, every day.
Going to the post office. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've got it slowly worked a bit of a rhythm out and sorting it out at home and storage and working out how to manage it. But it's coming along. Emily's been super patient with me.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, we've got thrones of cardboard boxes in the house. But yeah, we're getting through it, and it feels a lot more natural now. And like I've got a lot of stuff that's recently been announced and a lot of stuff to come, which is exciting. But yeah, it's a lot to think about and how we're going to manage that moving forward with some more touring as well.
So let's talk about the label in general now. So like, how many releases have you done?
I think
I was looking at the site the other day, and there was like even some that I had like not forgotten about, but I was like, oh shit, he did that, he did that, he did that.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Yeah, lots involved. I think in terms of like a catalog number, the one that was recently announced was the Severed Seizure Dream 7-inch. That'll be number 10.
Sick.
So that's
That's a pretty steady kind of like drop.
Yeah.
To go from what? Like 1 or 2 at November last year.
Yeah. For sure. So it's kind of been, I guess, 1 a month.
That's crazy.
Really, on average. And
Some might say that's ambitious, Louis.
For sure. And then yeah, I've got a few more in the works at the moment. So yeah, a lot happening, which is cool. So where do we go from Volatile Ways? I think I did some stuff for Aglo, so for Aaron Osborne.
Yeah.
But he got the records done himself through like Oblivious Maximus Records.
Yeah.
And then I did some CDs for him, and then I purchased some records from him to like distro, and he did his own side of things with that, and that was really fun to mix it up and do that.
Fun band, fun concept,
Yeah.
good riffs, great
Yeah.
merch.
It was awesome.
I'm a Star Trek kind of nerd from back in the day. So like that band, and I've said this before on the pod, that like that band is so him to a T. Like it's literally his name, like abbreviated, but then just
100%.
like big riffs and Star Trek samples and stupid merch and
It's
stuff.
awesome.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah, for sure. So it was fun to be involved with that. And then, like I said, I did the CD re-release for Splinter, which initially came out through New Ethics. So there has been things that I haven't handled the entire release for,
Sure.
but have just done like little extra bits and pieces, which has been a fun way to sort of network and
Collab with like other
Yeah.
people doing similar independent label stuff.
yeah, 100%. And then even like the Days distro stuff, like having some Oz exclusives, like we got to do the Sanction, Infringement of God's Plan.
So how did that come
re-release.
about?
So Crooks toured with Justice for the Damned, Kublai Khan, Sanction, November 2022.
Mhm.
And that's where we first met those guys. And I'd listened to Sanction for years, and I love that band
Great
so
band.
much. And someone actually asked me recently, maybe like 6 months ago or something, what my favorite live band was. And I was like, that's a great question. And I was thinking, I was like, favorite live band? And I was like, to be honest, I think it was Sanction,
Yeah, right.
which is pretty crazy. Like
That is crazy.
People might not think that for a band their size, but I mean, it just every night it just blew my head off. And like Dave, the vocalist, just does crazy vocals that he doesn't do on their recordings live, and just, everything just hit like a ton of bricks. And I really, really, really like that band. And that EP was like, it might be a little bit biased because it was the first thing of theirs that I heard, but it's my favorite of the stuff that they've done. I did like the LP as well, but when I found out that they were doing so it came about a little bit before that actually. So I wanted to do some distro stuff through Days, and like just purchase some records from him and have them on our store and things like that. And Candace, again, shout out Beast Mode. She was like, I've been talking to Lumpy about some other stuff. Like, I can loop you into an email and whatever. And she just linked me up with him, and he was obviously familiar with me from that tour. And it was funny because in his reply email, he was like, Big Records is the dopest name. And I was like, yes. It's working. He gets
Real,
it.
recognize real. I mean, Days is like super sick too. Like all their like
Crushing.
branding and marketing and just like
Yeah.
their handle, like Days of Future Past and shit. Like
Yeah.
it's a very similar vibe of just like
Yeah.
doing your own thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that's another one that's I take a lot of inspiration from. And we were just talking about the distro stuff, and he hooked me up with some wholesale account and all that sort of thing. And then one night I was just on my phone doing something during like we were talking about before, the freelance productive hours between
Yes.
11 p.m. and
The
3
witching
a.m.
hour. Yeah.
On my phone doing something, and an email comes through, and it just says Days, and it said sanction the infringement of, ... and I was like, what's this?
Yeah.
And I click on it, and he was like, would you be down to do an Oz exclusive colorway on the EP, like repressing? And I was like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know this was going to be a thing. And I was like, yeah, dude, 100%, let's do it. And then I was like, can I do some merch? And he's like, yeah, go for it. So he let me do a shirt and a hoodie, and then we got my own colorway for that. And he did everything, like got it pressed, shipped to me, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And then, let me run it as a pre-order and did it all that way, and it went awesome. And like, I was super stoked, and they were happy with how it went. And then I got offered the Weapon X one as well for the Demo 2 LP.
Love that, man.
And it crushed as well. I think I just got the rest of the orders of those sent out. So still got a couple left at home if anyone wants any.
Shout out.
OnlyBigRecords.com.
Put a little plug in the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, for sure. But again, like seeing that one come through, I was like, dude, 100% I'd be down for that. And no merch on that one, but even just getting to do the records. And they come and they've got the silkscreen B side, and the Sanction ones had the silkscreen side as well. And just like seeing it here, I was like, this is awesome. I can't believe I get to like put this out and just be a part of it. So really excited for that, and to just do more distro stuff with them, because I actually haven't bought anything from the distro because I was going to, and then the Sanction thing came up. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to need money for that. And then, you know, by the time I was away touring and doing my own thing and own releases or whatever, then the Weapon X one comes through, and I'm like, all right, cool. And so just, working that out, and it's been fun, like, just working with other labels and collabing. And I was even talking to a couple of the independent Australian labels and stuff too about doing some collab stuff with them.
Sick.
when the releases line up and going from there. But yeah, it's been really fun. But some that I'm happy with that I did the full rollout for was Death Tax. Obviously, you've given like a lot of shout outs to them on the show.
Shout out to the boys. Shout out to Jordan. He sent me a little gift package the other day.
Yeah.
Got a couple of stickers and a shirt and a bunch of cool shit. But yeah, love those guys.
Yeah.
They're so fucking dope. And that EP
awesome.
fucking rocks.
It's so heavy.
It's so good.
It's so heavy, and they're awesome live too. And yeah, really, really awesome guys. I really like them, dude. So that was fun as hell to work on for them, and it went really good. And I was really proud of that. A fairly recent one was Concrete Bomb from Perth.
Great
Dude,
release.
Yeah, Snorting Rubble. It's crazy.
So good.
Yeah, so much energy in there, so much attitude, and heaps of fun. And they played the Volatile show in Perth.
Yeah.
And just seeing it live after like listening to those songs for a couple of months and like getting it all pressed and everything, it was just like, damn, this is so fun. Like, I really like that band. I really want to get them over to the East Coast as soon as I can. As soon as I have something suitable for them,
Yeah.
tour-wise, or I can put them forward for something, I will, because it's awesome. And I've known James in that band for a long time through his other bands, like Unravel and Denial and stuff. So yeah, he's an awesome guy, and I've always got along really well
Unravel.
with
I haven't
him.
heard about that band in ages.
Yeah.
Great
yeah.
band.
So sick. Yeah. So he's a pretty versatile guy. Like he plays in Engage, like a youth crew band. And he's got this kind of like New York hardcore moshy sort of stuff with Concrete Bomb. And then he's done death metal. He's done everything. And he's handsome as hell. Stop it, James.
All right. Well, let's talk about the most recent stuff that you've got coming out through the label. So I know you mentioned the Wet Work split.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. And then if you got anything else that you want to plug.
Yeah, for sure. So we did Wet Work Spat Out and Split 7-inch. So that's just come out first week of August. They're in hand and look awesome, and the long sleeves have arrived at home. I'm not home here to pack them yet, so I'll have my hands full when I get back late Monday night and through Tuesday, Wednesday. But I'm really excited for those. It's like a 4-sided long sleeve that's got blue down one sleeve, orange down the other, and a blue and orange artwork. And
That sounds crazy.
they look psycho, and they've gone really well, so I'm really, really stoked with that. But yeah, those guys are homies, and I think the first time they played together might have even been one of those early Sunny Coast shows.
Yeah, dope.
That I saw, and it looked crazy. And they've done a bunch of shows together before and stuff, and they wanted to do a split. And it's cool because, again, it's another band that like sonically makes sense together.
Yes.
But are still pretty stylistically different in terms of like hardcore music.
Yeah.
So it was fun to work on. It was tricky to work on too, because it can be hard sometimes with like clashing ideas with one band.
Yeah.
And then you've got two bands, and even though they're all friends and stuff, like you got to make sure that this lines up with what they want to do, and this lines
double
up
the
with
amount of
them,
people
and
you have to like tick and get the okay from. So
exactly.
yeah.
And then having the mixes on time, and then the masters, and they did a really cool thing. They had it mastered both by Joe at Wood River in Newcastle, so it all sounds the same,
cohesive and stuff. Yeah,
it
nice.
sounds really nice, and it was fun to work on that. Decoy did the artwork, and he's a tattooer who's in Melbourne now at Grand Illusion.
Yeah.
But he came from like the Central Coast Newcastle area, and he used to sing in a band called Choke back in the day, and he does Discount Code now, and it's awesome, like just real angry, aggressive hardcore music. It's awesome. So he did the artwork for it. So it's been like all pretty involved with their friends, and and what they want to do, that's why you do a split, right?
Yeah.
Is to do something.
That's the whole point of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
that was a super fun one to work on.
Are there any others that are up for like pre-order?
The Severed Seizure Dream 7-inch that we spoke about before, it's set to come out, I believe, the 8th of September. It might be the 3rd.
Okay.
All my dates are screwed up at the moment. I think it might be the 3rd, actually. That full thing will be online. They have a music video, which is cool. Nice performance video of them, which will be dropping on the big YouTube channel.
Nice.
So
Shout out.
I transferred the Volatile YouTube channel to the Big Records one.
Okay.
And I was like, I feel like that would make sense because it technically is Volatile Way's label.
Yeah.
Like I started it purely to put out our music. And a lot of the stuff that I'm working with, I think, would click with the Volatile Ways fan base. So
For sure.
I think it's just a smart way to
I think
transfer.
That's a smart decision. Yeah, for sure.
Instead of having its own page and then promoting two separate.
Yeah. No, you might as well
things.
just like rebrand and off you go.
Yeah. And I've put it all in there so people can see like that it's the Volatile Ways, the label that we're on and all that stuff. I think people put two and two together pretty quickly. So if anyone's like, I don't remember subbing to this this channel.
No, that's dope. I'll have links in the description for people to check that out.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm excited for that and watching that too because a lot of smaller bands don't often do music videos because they can be so expensive. And, like I feel like music videos are tricky in this day and age too. If you don't have like a big label or big channel to push it, like they don't always get to the audience that you want them to and that sort of thing unless they get picked up in an awesome algorithm or whatever. But watching it and hearing the song with a visual, it added a lot. Even though it's basically a performance video with some extra stuff added in.
Yeah.
I was like, damn it, that makes that song hit harder for some reason. I think it's because you can see the people playing it.
Totally.
Just like,
I think I come from, you and I are like roughly the same age. So like we come from like a time where like, again, it may be like some of that prestige factor, but like if you were a band that had like a sick music video, that was like the elevation of like prestige. Like, oh wow, they got to like cut a music video and it looks sick. And like I've had mates who have done bands and tried to do like EP or album rollouts and been like, oh, we're just not going to do any videos. And I always feel like, that's dumb. Like, even if it puts you in the hole and it costs money, like, you should do a video because it's just like a really good way for people to kind of get what your band is about. Whether it's a narrative thing or a performance clip or even just like live footage that's just kind of like, you know, graded and cut up a bit fucking crazy. Like, do something because especially with like YouTube and stuff, like, we've had to kind of like elevate the show into the thing that it is now for that kind of audience, but like it's objectively a better show. So like just elevate your stuff and do a music video because I think it's worth it. Yeah,
100%. And it's funny you say that because I was talking to someone about it the other day that almost every podcast that I consume is a video podcast.
Yep.
I don't know why. It's people just sitting down looking at each other
chatting.
talking.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know why the visual element is more enjoyable for me. I don't know why.
And a lot of the podcasts that I consume are moving to video stuff.
Yeah.
And even if it is just like 4 people on a Zoom call type thing, like they'll still put that up on YouTube and do a video thing because that's just where all of that stuff is kind of trending.
Yeah.
There are a couple of holdouts that are like steadfastly just doing audio, which I think is fine. Like if you've got the user base for it, do that. But to compete and to try and like get people to listen to your shit, like you have to have a video podcast. So
exactly. So
share, like, subscribe, please. Thank you.
Future Discontent.
But I mean, like talking about music videos, like for the Perfect Dark rollout, like the videos that you guys did, so sick. Really different, but like you get all different elements of the band through those videos.
Yeah, for sure. That was something that were like really, really fun to put together. And I'm exactly the same as you. Like you said, we're of that era where like you'd see an awesome music video of a band, or there was an element to it that added that extra level, you know, to elevate the release. And working closely with Emily on ideas and concepts and stuff too, and outfits and things that she likes to incorporate into the band. Has just been so rewarding to see her get to do what she wants to do with it. And it's just like, damn, especially the Perfect Dark music video.
So
the
sick.
Track. And that one came about like last minute because Rudzy and I, so Jack Rudder, also lives in Newcastle, and he is the one that filmed that video for us, and we've been working together for almost 10 years now on different things and touring together and all that sort of stuff. And we did it like a last minute thing, and it was filmed. Most of it was filmed in near the park at the back of our house. So our house backs onto like an oval kind of thing.
Yeah.
And on the other side of that oval is like a little creek that goes into this sort of flora bushland sort of area, and a lot of it was filmed in there. And then the end scene where Emily gets pulled under the water was in the lake at Lake Macquarie. Just as people walking past, like on the footpath with their kids or walking their dogs or going for a run.
Incredible.
And it's Emily in this crazy, like almost looks like a wedding dress type vibe with this veil and everything. And it's me wearing a black sheet with black painted arms and gold claws and just walking into the water and being like, all right, you ready, Rudzy? Pull her under. And we had one shot to do it. And that's the one that's in the video. So
I mean, like, I only have one experience to go off, which is the most recent Terminal Sleep video.
Yeah.
So they put out a call for extras for that. And I remember hitting up Paige and I was like, do you want to be in a video? She was like, yeah. She's like, I've never got the chance to be in a video. And I was like, me either. Like, let's do it. It'll be fun. And like, it was super fun, but you do get the sense of like just how tiring those shoots can be. And like,
for sure.
Especially when you're doing a mix of like narrative stuff with like performance stuff. And like, that was a super fun thing to be a part of, but like we were there for hours and hours and hours, and then did like a couple of little bits that then got clipped up into like tiny little pieces that you see in like a 3-minute video or whatever.
Yeah,
I remember watching the video back and being like, is that us? I don't know. Like, we're just wearing like a cloak. So like, we're not like main extras or anything, but it was still like super fun. And like Candace was there for that shoot. She was like helping like play the music and like sync everyone up, and it's just cool to watch all the different like moving pieces in a music video. And yeah, I just think more bands should do videos. I think they're sick.
Yeah.
Like, get your friends to do it and help out and make a music video.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, the one Rudzy did for you guys looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's awesome. He worked some really cool like magic on it. He was doing something with like a vintage lens, and he had it like attached to the camera but not fully, and he was kind of like moving it off the camera like in and out, and was taking it in and out of focus, which gave it this like blur element. And I'm behind her in this like this black sheet like as this cloaked figure, so the black and white contrast, but coming in and out. There's scenes where I'm like standing next to a tree while she's walking, and meant to be like just in the back.
Shadows wash upon me, dancing on my skin. Shrouded by the darkness, I'm ready to give in. I can't wait to live till I get.
Everyone has their own little tricks. Like, shout out to Chris Reese, Def Chris, who does stuff for us all the time. Like, I've been to shows with him, and he's like grabbed a fucking schooner glass and then just like used that as like a shitty lens to like shoot through to get like a fucked up like effect on like the live shots and stuff. And I was like, how the fuck did you like fall into doing that? He's like, I don't know, just picked it up and tried one day and it looked cool. So now I just do it sometimes. I was like, okay, man, whatever. Everyone's got their own little tips and tricks.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And doing that one too, a bit more of an organic, it's like on location style video, because we did a couple of like pretty in-depth like green screen style videos.
Which looked insane.
Thank you. That was with like Chris and Guy, like Chris Agus and Guy Viers, who have the Neck Up Media.
Yep.
And it's fun. We've worked with those guys with Crooks and Volatile over the years, and they did the Times Up video too, which was like a live performance style video that they cut together. And so we've done like a fair bit of stuff with them now, but working on and seeing something like Pink Mist Wishlist video come together, which is like got a full gallery with all the gold frames and the statues, and like that full like torture room with the with the canvases where people get turned into artworks. Is
so sick.
Yeah, that was a really fun. That song is super theatrical, and you're super, super proud of the lyrics for that song. And just seeing the video come together for that was awesome. Because when we wrote the record, like that wasn't initially a single.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
In terms of the ideas for what we wanted to do with the single, but just when it was finished with the lyrics and the vocals and everything, it was like,
Oh, we
damn,
got to put
it'd
this
be
on.
silly not to.
Yeah.
It's such a visual song.
Absolutely.
Like, we can do so much with this idea, and the video is so fun to just to see come together. Because when you're there, like you've got Emily in her outfit, but then you can't see anything else.
No, it's just a green screen.
A red dress and veil in front of a green wall, and like seeing what he built there was just like, yeah, it was super collaborative, and Em had a lot of fun with adding extra bits and pieces to that as well, and yeah, it was cool. And I mean, televised suicide as well, if we can say that.
Of course you can. I think this far into the episode, I don't think it matters.
Televised unalive. There we go.
We'll just like beep it out.
Yeah, the concept for that. So that some people might understand it, but some people might not. Because I still have seen people comment on the video and stuff. They're like, "Oh, this might be about Bud Dwyer or whatever," and it's like, well, if you look at the lyrics,
It's definitely
not about Bud Dwyer, but there was the Christine Chubbuck one, which a lot of people have got the reference to. But again, that one was super fun to work on lyrics for, because the sample at the start is apparently the actual live audio from the news broadcast where she did shoot herself.
Wow.
It's definitely what she said, but I don't know if it's a remake of it. It's pretty bad quality, but we ripped it from somewhere online and used that. But if you find that recording and see what she says, a lot of those are used in the song as lyrics, or like ties to that, and it ties to some other things that I read about. Like if it bleeds, it leads is apparently something that the boss used to always say to them, as in that's what gets the attention.
Have you seen Nightcrawler?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's 100%. That's like the whole ethos of that fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that is a lyric in there. It's not what she says at the start, but it's apparently something that their boss used to say to them. So we threw that in there, and like in Living Color, a TV First is something she says in there. We have the lights, camera, action before the breakdown, and it was just a lot of fun to work on, and even like conceptually, some of the lyrics in there, like the way they've done my makeup, the way they've done my hair, and like stuff like that. It's like, why would you have lyrics like that in a heavy song? But it's like she's getting ready to end her life.
Yeah.
Like on camera, which is just
and
like,
also
such
like
a dark concept.
Like when you go to like a funeral and they do up the fucking body with like the makeup and stuff. Like I've always found that to be like particularly morbid and kind of like fucked up. That like I've never been to like a casket showing at like a fucking funeral or whatever, but like Paige has, and we've talked about it. She was like, yeah, she's like fucking crazy to see someone that you knew in life dead, but then just like dolled up. And then just like in a casket, like a very strange thing that we do culturally. So like, no, I totally get it.
Yeah, for sure. And that one, again, being such a dark concept, that story just absolutely fascinates me, because it's like, why would someone want to do that live on television? Like that's such an insane
thing to do.
Yeah, and it's just such an interesting story when you read into it. And there's a movie about it too I think it's called Christine. I haven't watched it yet, but it's got Rebecca Hall in it, and she's an awesome
great
actress. So I've got to watch it. But I definitely like pulled different things, here and there that I read online about that movie and stuff like that as well. But that as a concept visually was really fun to do, and obviously having Beck from Terminal Sleep on it, having Emily and Beck together as like news readers, and like getting to wear their fun like pantsuits and
shoulder pads and shit.
Great. Just have fun with it, and it's like such a colorful contrast to the band shots are supposed to be like nice and cold and like and us just going crazy, and then them in these bright outfits in this like bright studio, and then to the end of the video. So it's another one that was really fun to put together, and the guys nailed it. The performance shots obviously were done on location, but all the studio stuff's all green screen as well. So they had a real desk, but we weren't sure how that was all going to come together.
Yeah.
And even just like the fake blood that we used and everything, and like squirted it on with like a like a water pistol.
Sick. Super soaker or something. Fuck yeah.
So it was a lot of fun to do. So I'm a massive fan. I've got this. I can't really talk about it, but whenever we do some new music, I've got these already got cool video concept ideas that I really want to do, and I'm really excited.
Well, this was kind of naturally leading to where I wanted to go, which is to kind of wrap up the main show here, and we'll do a couple little extra minutes for Patreon stuff at the end. But I guess what do you have on the go for like the next kind of like 6 months to the year? Like, do you have stuff happening with Volatile, the label? What have you got? Anything that you can plug and maybe cheekily kind of hint at? We don't have to do spoilers or anything, but what do you have planned?
I've got a lot of stuff in the works. What I can reveal might be a little bit tricky, but we do have Volatile Ways have a tour that will be in January. It should get announced, I believe, the first week of September.
Okay.
So that one's a really cool one for us. It'll be
by the time this comes out, it might be out. So if you wanna do that, you can. But I'll once the tour is out, I'll put it up.
Make sure to launch it. Yeah. So it's with a couple of international bands. It'll be the biggest rooms that Volatile's ever played. So
fuck yeah, dude! Congrats.
Thank you.
That's sick.
Super excited about that one. So that's announced first week of September. We also have a show coming up at the start of November, which gets announced around the same time. And that's a friend of ours from Adelaide who's booking like an all ages mini fest thing.
Okay.
Really excited about that one as well. So yeah, we haven't really done anything since the album tour, which finished mid-May. We did have Thrashville in Newcastle, but Em got sick, and that was the first show we've ever had to cancel.
I know.
Yeah, and she was gutted about it, but you know, that health comes first, obviously.
I was kind of planning, like prior to finding out that Paige was pregnant, that we were going to have a kid.
Yeah.
This year, I was like, all right, I want to try and like do as many fests as possible for the show. I want to try and like, I was going to try and do Blacken. I was going to try and do Thrashville. Like, because we've done like some not fest stuff, we've done some good things stuff, like the big ones. But I was like, let's go to the more like underground, low key kind of fests. That'll be fun. Because that Thrashville lineup looks so sick.
Yeah.
But I was bummed when I saw you guys had to cancel from that. So
yeah, for sure.
It still looked like a fun time.
Yeah, I was still going to go Frankston last night, and Jamie from Trepaside, and he went up for it, and he said it was awesome. He said he had the best time up there, and we were gutted we couldn't do it because it was a super mixed bill, like
crazy
bands that probably none of them we would ever play with outside of that fest, and it was like we were going to be playing to so many new people, different people, and it was 40 minutes from where we live, so it's like
crazy not to.
That would translate to our shows in Newcastle and stuff as well, but yeah, it's just it's what happens, and we come back stronger, you know. You know, and health, like I said, health comes first, and you can't help that. You can't restring someone's vocal cords.
No, you cannot.
Anything like that. So yeah, that was a little bit of a bummer, but I'm really excited for those couple of things that are coming up. And then in terms of like just touring stuff, we got the rest of the Star of Splinter tour. So it goes the sold out show at the Bergie tomorrow, and then next week we have Sydney at the Vanguard on Wednesday, and we've got the Basement, Canberra Thursday, King Street, Newcastle on Friday.
Nice.
And they're all selling pretty well at the moment, so I'm excited to see them like pick up as they get closer. And then I'm only home for 3 days and straight into Tsunami Out of Pocket.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I'm looking after Out of Pocket on that run, I'm pretty sure, and just helping out where I can with that and making sure everyone gets everywhere safe. And I'm really excited to see how those shows go down, because that Melbourne show specifically is like a crazy ass hard lineup. So, and it's at the Espy, which is like a really nice venue. So it's going to be a good.
I think it's a kind of a testament too to like how kind of locked in Candace has everything with Beast Mode. That like, obviously she's like got a really good relationship with the Tsunami guys, because like they cannot stop coming here.
Yeah,
like
that's awesome.
We had a chat with is it Joseph, the singer?
Yeah.
Yeah, had a chat with him at Notfest in kind of just like the little like on ground interviews that we were doing. Yeah. And I was just like, oh man, you're back for like the third time in however long. Like, what's up with Australia? And he's just like, oh, we love coming here. And he's like, it hasn't been announced yet. He's like, but we're already coming back like later this year. And I was like, fucking hell, like just can't stop coming here.
Yeah, for sure. And it's super fun. And again, full circle, they're playing Nambour.
Hell
and
yeah.
They're playing Hobart. And so there's like two scenes that these guys have built up themselves, you know what I mean? And now Tsunami and Out of Pocket are hitting shows
That's
there.
sick. The 270 guys must be like fucking losing their mind.
Yeah, they're playing the show.
That's so dope.
Better. Yeah,
Fuck
so
yeah.
it's a really, really cool thing to see. So that's the next big thing that I'm on the road for. And then, I've got a couple of really exciting things happening through the label again. Unfortunately, can't really announce any, but when I first started the label, like to put out the Volatile stuff, and I thought, you know, there could be a couple of releases that I would like to aim to do in the future. There was two bands that I really wanted, and I think I've just locked them both in. So
That's so sick, dude. Congrats.
yeah, thank you. So I'm really, really excited for that. Friends of mine, but like, you know, one's sort of like a heavy hardcore sort of moshy stuff, and one's a bit more like sort of death grind kind of stuff. So a couple of mixing it up a little bit, but I'm really, really stoked. And the new music that both of those bands have is insane, and I'm so excited for it. And I'm actually catching up with the band while I'm in Melbourne as well to talk about a potential release. I've just heard their new LP, and it's awesome.
Okay.
And it's packaged really nicely, and I was like, I don't really have time, but it's hard to turn down something that looks and sounds so good. So that's another one that
Good problems to have, mate.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff happening.
yeah, it's super exciting. I'm wondering if there's anything else that I can talk about in regards to the label. Just just pushing the releases that we have at the moment, and yeah, everything's stocked on the store. So if you want to go on onlybigrecords.com and have a look at what's on there. There's scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
That's a little note for future edit me to like put the fucking website in there.
Yeah, we've got.
I'll have it in the description for people to actually go and click on. But yes,
it's
go buy
awesome.
Lewy stuff.
Yeah, lots of cool stuff on there at the moment, and a mix of all different stuff. I try to have a lot of fun with what we do, and one of the best things about working on the label is being collaborative with the other bands, because I've sort of handled a lot of that with my bands, and I like being collaborative in that space, but working with someone else and not having to come up with ideas and concepts and stuff, but what they have, and then being like, oh, what if we try this or do that, and having other people open to collaboration is one of the most enjoyable parts of it.
For sure.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of fun with that side of it as well. So we've got that, and then the Wet Work release show that we talked about before, that's August 31st in Nambour at the Black Box. It's selling well as well, so I'm really excited for that.
Next week?
Yeah, actually, next Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it'll
be past by the time this is edited and put out, but I hope it was dope.
I'm sure it would have been. Yeah, I got to book some flights for that one, actually. Just reminded me. As soon as we finish here, that's what I'm doing. And then, what else have we got? I'm not sure if I'm doing any more booking before the end of the year, but yeah, I'll be back out on the road later this year with a tour that gets announced pretty soon as well. Not playing, just working.
Yeah, right.
An exciting one. There's a lot of cool stuff happening at the moment. It's awesome to be a part of it and be involved.
I'm stoked for you, dude. Like, it's always cool to see your mates winning and to like pull off a very kind of tricky and dicey kind of thing of like making this lifestyle kind of just like work for you in terms of like the boring shit of like paying the bills and kind of just like keeping the lights on. And like, I know how much of a struggle it is trying to do the pod and do that sort of stuff. Sign up to the Patreon. Thank you. But yeah, I can't say enough kind things about it, and I love to see you win.
Awesome.
Kick all these goals. It's sick.
Same to you.
Thank you,
awesome.
brother. We're going to end up the main show here. And then if you would like to hear Lewy go long on the Patreon, I got some fun questions to throw at him. You can sign up to the Patreon at patreon.com/tpdpod. I will put that link there again. Lewy, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Owen. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Hello, Owen popping in to say, please sign up for the TPD Patreon. This is what helps us keep the lights on and keep the show going. The link is at the bottom of your screen right now, patreon.com/tpdpod. All of our patrons get exclusive access to Side B of our roundup episodes, so you get a few extra tracks, as well as our feature album discussion and the full show experience. Our patrons also get exclusive access to behind-the-scenes, off-the-cuff chit-chat from all of our guest episodes. But the patrons are the ones who make all of this happen. For as little as $5 a month, you can sign up to the TPD Patreon, and it really helps us out, really helps us keep the show going. So shout out to all of our patrons, shout out to our executive producer patrons, you're the real ones, and thank you so much for watching the show.